The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as the human delegation entered. Ambassador Sarah Chen walked with measured steps, her expression carefully neutral, while behind her trailed something the council had not anticipated. 3 human children, none older than 8 standard years, each clutching colorful objects to their chests. High Arbiter Velkoth's crystalline form refracted the chamber's light into disapproving rainbows. Ambassador Chen, his voice resonated through translation matrices embedded in every delegate's consciousness. This is a formal custody hearing regarding species 7341H, commonly known as children. We did not authorize the presence of specimens. With respect, High Arbiter, Sarah replied, her voice steady. How can the Council rule on humanity's fitness to raise our own young without meeting them? We brought 3 volunteers, Marcus, age 8, Yuki, age 7, and little Emma, age 5. The Zephrari delegate, a being of swirling gases contained within a force field, pulsed an agitated violet. This hearing was convened because 17 member species have filed formal complaints. Human juveniles display unacceptable levels of curiosity, danger-seeking behavior, and what your own documentation calls reckless imagination. The evidence suggests humans are unfit caregivers. It had started 6 months ago, when the human colony ship Perseverance had made first contact with the Galactic Council. Humanity had been overjoyed. They were not alone. But joy had curdled into confusion when the Council's Welfare Committee had reviewed Earth's child-rearing practices and declared them criminally negligent. The Thornback ambassador, resembling a massive tortoise with metallic plating, rumbled forward. "Let me present Exhibit 1, he said, projecting a hologram. It showed a human playground, towering metal structures, spinning platforms, and what appeared to be a device designed to launch juveniles through the air. This, the Thornback continued with evident horror, is called a swing set. Human caretakers deliberately install these injury-production devices in areas where their young congregate. The juveniles climb to dangerous heights, propel themselves at velocities that could result in collision trauma, and frequently fall onto surfaces that provide minimal cushioning. That's my swing set, Emma piped up, bouncing on her toes. She held up a small stuffed rabbit worn from countless adventures. This is Mr. Hopscotch. He comes with me every time. Daddy pushes me super high and I pretend I'm flying to the moon. The council chamber rustled with concerned murmurs. A Quarid delegate, a being that looked like an ambulatory mass of protective foam, spoke through its translator. The juvenile admits to simulation of escape trajectory from planetary gravity. This only confirms the danger. May I speak? Marcus raised his hand, exactly as his teacher had instructed. At the High Arbiter's crystalline nod, the 8-year-old stepped forward, clutching a wooden sword painted in bright colors. I made this in my dad's workshop. He taught me how to use the tools safely. First the safety goggles, then checking the wood for cracks, then measuring 3 times before cutting. The Velkoth's light patterns shifted to skeptical amber. You are saying adult humans allow juveniles access to cutting implements? Well, yeah, Marcus replied, as if this were the most obvious thing in the universe. How else would I learn? Dad was right there the whole time. I cut myself once, just a little, and he showed me how to put on a bandage and explained why I had to hold the saw differently. Now I know, and I made something all by myself. That's my sword and I'm proud of it. Yuki, quiet until now, stepped forward with a battered notebook covered in drawings. This is my observation journal, she said softly. Last summer, my mom took me hiking and we found a wasp nest. I wanted to get closer, but Mom said wasps protect their homes and can sting if scared. So we sat really far away, and Mom helped me use binoculars. I drew 17 different wasps and learned that they're actually important for the ecosystem because they eat pest insects. You observed hostile fauna. The Zephrari delegate pulsed an alarmed crimson. And the adult human did not immediately remove the juvenile from danger. They weren't hostile. Yuki explained patiently, in the tone of someone correcting a fundamental misunderstanding. They were just doing wasp things. Mom taught me that nature isn't dangerous if you're respectful and careful. I want to be a xenobiologist when I grow up. How could I study alien life if I'm scared of Earth wasps? The High Arbiter dimmed his luminescence, a sign of deep contemplation among his kind. Perhaps, he said slowly, the Council should review the specific complaints in light of this testimony. A holographic display materialized, listing violation after violation. Ambassador Chen stood beside her young delegates as each charge was read. Complaint 7. Humans regularly expose juveniles to open flame through a practice called camping, including allowing them to cook food over controlled combustion. The display showed children roasting marshmallows. Emma giggled. Those are s'mores. Grandpa taught me. You have to turn the marshmallow slowly so it doesn't catch fire, and if it does, you blow it out quick. The burnt part tastes funny, but Grandpa says mistakes are just lessons in disguise. Complaint 12. Human juveniles are encouraged to engage with fictional narratives involving danger, death, and conflict. Marcus lifted a book he'd been carrying along with his sword. This is where the wild things are, he said. It's about a boy who gets angry and imagines sailing away to an island where monsters live. But he learns the monsters aren't really scary, they're just different. And he realizes home is where people love you, even when you're naughty. Stories help us understand big feelings. Complaint 23. Humans permit juveniles to engage in competitive physical activities with high injury potential, including an activity called soccer. Yuki pulled out a small trophy, dented and scratched. My team won this. We weren't the best players, but we worked together. I broke my arm sliding for a goal last season. She held up her arm, now fully healed. It hurt a lot and I was scared at the hospital, but the doctor explained how bones heal stronger at the break point, and my whole team signed my cast. I learned that my body is tough, my friends care about me, and sometimes winning means getting hurt but trying anyway. The chamber had gone utterly still. The Thornback ambassador withdrew his earlier projections, his metallic plates clattering softly, a sign of embarrassment among his species. Finally, the Quarid delegate spoke, its protective foam rippling with uncertainty. I do not understand. On Quarid Prime, our juveniles are kept in controlled educational matrices until full maturation. No risk, no injury, no fear. Your methods seem— It paused, searching for the word, chaotic. Sarah Chen stepped forward now, placing gentle hands on the children's shoulders. Our methods are human, she said quietly. Every species here has raised their young according to their nature. The Thornbacks grow their young in fortified nests until their shells harden. The Zephrari transfer consciousness into ever larger containment fields as their young develop. The Quarids educate through safe, simulated experiences. And we humans, we teach through guided risk. She looked down at the 3 children. These 3 volunteered to come here because they wanted to show you something we can't put into words. Emma learns courage on her swing set. Marcus learns craftsmanship and resilience. Yuki learns curiosity tempered with wisdom. They collect scrapes and bruises and fears, yes, but they also collect something else: competence, confidence, the bone-deep knowledge that they can face the unknown and survive it. The High Arbiter's crystalline form shimmered through a spectrum of colors, a sign of intense processing among his kind. But surely, he said, there must be a safer way. Safer? Sarah's voice carried an edge now. Perhaps, but would it produce humans who could build a colony ship and fly it for 3 generations to reach your council? Humans who could negotiate first contact while standing in a chamber full of species that could kill them with a thought? Humans who look at the infinite dark between stars and think, I wonder what's out there, instead of I should hide. Emma tugged on Sarah's sleeve. Miss Ambassador, can I say something? Sarah nodded, and the 5-year-old addressed the most powerful governing body in the known galaxy. Mr. Hopscotch is scared of the dark, Emma said, holding up her rabbit. So every night, Mommy or Daddy sits with me, and we talk about what's scary and why. Daddy says it's okay to be scared as long as you don't let scared be the boss of you. He says humans went to space even though space is super scary, because we wanted to meet new friends more than we wanted to be safe. She looked around the chamber with absolute seriousness. Are you scared of us? Is that why you want to change how we grow up? The question hung in the air like a challenge, and the council, beings of vast knowledge and power, found they had no immediate answer. The Thornback was the first to speak, his rumble softer now. Perhaps, he admitted, we are uncomfortable with a species that teaches its young that danger can be faced rather than avoided. It is unfamiliar to most of us. But not unnatural, the Zephrari added, its clouds shifting to a thoughtful blue. The human juveniles display remarkable psychological resilience, and their attachment to physical objects, these toys, seems to provide emotional anchoring during developmental challenges. The High Arbiter's form finally stabilized into a warm golden hue. The Council recognizes that it may have acted hastily. These juveniles are not victims of neglect but beneficiaries of a child-rearing philosophy adapted to human neurology and sociology. The toys they brought, the rabbit, the sword, the journal, the trophy, these are not mere objects but evidence of lessons learned and growth achieved. He paused, then added something unprecedented in Council history. Perhaps there is something we might learn from humanity's approach to young rearing. Controlled exposure to manageable risk may produce adults better equipped for our increasingly complex galaxy. Ambassador Chen allowed herself a small smile. The Council's wisdom honors us, High Arbiter. Perhaps our species can teach each other. We would be happy to share our child development research. And perhaps, she glanced at the children, we could arrange cultural exchanges. Nothing teaches like experience. Marcus raised his hand again. Does that mean alien kids could come learn to make swords in my dad's workshop? Or collect samples of alien wasps, Yuki added hopefully. Or learn to fly on alien swing sets. Emma's eyes were huge with possibility. The chamber filled with the various sounds of alien laughter, crystalline chimes, gaseous whooshes, metallic clatters. The tension that had dominated the hearing evaporated like morning frost. I believe, the High Arbiter said, his tone almost warm, that humanity's petition to maintain their current child-rearing practices is approved. Furthermore, the Council extends an official apology for cultural insensitivity. Species 7341H, humanity, you are recognized as fit guardians of your own young. As the human delegation prepared to leave, Emma ran back and placed Mr. Hopscotch on the High Arbiter's platform. You should keep him for a little while, she said seriously. He's good at helping with scary things, and I think maybe the Council needs him more than me right now. You can give him back at the next meeting. He likes bedtime stories, just so you know. The High Arbiter, being of pure crystalline consciousness who had existed for 17,000 years, found himself oddly touched by the gesture. I will care for him well, he promised. As the doors closed behind the humans, the Council sat in contemplative silence. Finally, the Quarid spoke. Did we just receive a diplomatic gift from a 5-year-old? I believe, the Thornback rumbled with what might have been amusement. We just learned why humanity will thrive among the stars. They raise their young not to avoid danger but to bring toys and hope into the darkness. Outside the chamber, Marcus looked up at Ambassador Chen. Did we win? Sarah knelt down, meeting his eyes. You did something better than winning. You helped the Council understand us, and understanding is what makes real friendship possible. Cool, Marcus said, then grinned. Can we go get ice cream now? Being evidence is hard work. And as the 3 children skipped down the hall of the most powerful institution in the galaxy, arguing about whether chocolate or vanilla was superior, they had no idea that they had just altered the course of galactic civilization. In the years to come, the human method of guided risk and experiential learning would be studied, debated, and cautiously adopted by species across the stars. But in that moment, they were just kids who had brought their toys to show some worried aliens that everything was going to be okay. And perhaps in the end, that was the most human thing of all.